In the heart of the Galactic Federation, the Grand Council chamber buzzed with tension. Council members exchanged frantic glances as reports flooded in from the front lines. The alert sirens blared, a stark reminder of the impending doom. An alien armada had breached the outer defenses and was advancing rapidly toward the core systems. Desperation filled the air as leaders from various species argued over potential solutions. Chancellor Veller, a towering figure of shimmering scales, slammed his fist on the table, demanding immediate action. His voice thundered above the chaos, calling for a united front against the threat. But the arguments continued to spiral into disarray, with factions insisting on different strategies. Some advocated for a preemptive strike, while others urged retreat to safer sectors. The room felt like it was on the brink of collapse as emotions ran high and fear gripped the hearts of even the most seasoned leaders. Amidst the chaos, a quiet voice emerged from the back of the chamber. It was Mira, a young human engineer known for her brilliance and unorthodox ideas. She stood up and raised her hand, drawing the attention of the council. Her heart raced as she felt all eyes on her, but she pushed through the anxiety with a sense of purpose. She cleared her throat and spoke with a clarity that cut through the noise. Honored members of the council, she began, I believe I have a solution. While the rest of the galaxy faces certain destruction, humanity has developed innovative fleet technology that can turn the tide in our favor. The chamber fell silent as Mira continued. The prototype ships are designed to adapt to enemy tactics in real time. They can cloak from sensors, and their weapon systems are unparalleled. We have to show you what we have. Skepticism flickered across the faces of some council members, but curiosity sparked in others. A short but intense debate erupted as various factions weighed the risks of relying on human technology. Mira stood firm, her resolve growing stronger with every moment. She could feel the weight of her people's survival resting on her shoulders. Chancellor Veller raised a hand, silencing the crowd. His eyes narrowed as he studied Mira, a young engineer. He said, the stakes could not be higher. If you are wrong, we risk everything. But if you are right, we may yet have a chance to save the Federation. What do you propose? Mira took a deep breath and replied, we need to conduct a live simulation to test the capabilities of our fleet. Let us face a simulated enemy and demonstrate how our ships can perform under pressure. She felt the eyes of the council weighing heavily on her, but she pressed on. This is not just a demonstration of technology. It is a chance for unity and hope in our darkest hour. After a tense silence, the council began to murmur. Some voices expressed agreement, while others voiced their doubts. But the urgency of the situation loomed large. Finally, Veller nodded, granting permission for the simulation. A collective breath of relief washed over the room as Mira's proposal was accepted. As preparations began, Mira felt a surge of adrenaline mixed with fear. She had to make this work for her people and for the future of the Federation. She envisioned a united front, one that would stand strong against the alien threat, no matter the cost. Her determination burned brightly as she set to work, ready to prove that humanity was not only a valuable ally, but a beacon of innovation and strength in the galaxy. As the council chamber emptied, Mira and her team sprang into action. The atmosphere was electric with urgency and anticipation. They gathered in the war room, a sleek, high-tech space filled with holographic displays and advanced communication systems. Mira felt the weight of responsibility heavy on her shoulders, but she was fueled by a fierce determination. The first order of business was to finalize the details of the live simulation. They had only a short window to prepare the prototype fleet, which consisted of several agile ships equipped with the latest human technology. Each vessel was designed to adapt to various combat scenarios and incorporate advanced AI systems that could analyze enemy movements in real time. Mira's mind raced as she considered the challenges ahead. Her lead engineer, Jalen, a rugged veteran with a wealth of experience, joined her at the central console, his brow furrowed with concern. Mira, we need to make sure everything is operational, or we risk humiliation in front of the council, he cautioned, his voice a mix of worry and admiration. Mira nodded, taking a deep breath. We will make it work, she said firmly, confidence surging through her. It's not just about the technology, it's about demonstrating what humanity can contribute to the Federation. They need to see our potential. As the team worked feverishly to prepare the ships, Mira took a moment to reflect on the importance of the simulation. This was their chance to showcase humanity's ingenuity and prove their worth among the stars, but it was also a chance to unite the fractured factions of the Federation that had bickered for too long. They needed a shared purpose to face the encroaching darkness. The next day, the council convened again with a mix of skepticism and curiosity filling the air. Mira stood at the forefront alongside her team as the fleet's ships were displayed in a massive holographic projection. The ships glimmered with sleek lines and vibrant colors, a testament to human creativity and engineering prowess. "Ladies and gentlemen of the council," she began, her voice steady and clear today. "We stand on the brink of a new alliance. I invite you to witness the capabilities of our fleet technology. In a live simulation against a formidable simulated enemy together, we can explore the limits of what is possible." As the council members took their seats, Mira's heart raced with anticipation. She initiated the simulation, which projected a virtual battleground onto the walls of the chamber. The audience watched in awe as the human ships sprang to life, each vessel moving with fluid grace and precision. The simulation began with the enemy fleet appearing on the horizon, a fearsome array of ships, modeled after their real-life counterparts. The tension in the chamber was palpable as Mira activated the ship's adaptive systems. The vessels instantly altered their formations and engaged the enemy with an elegance that left the council members speechless. One by one, the human ships showcased their capabilities, dodging enemy fire while retaliating with pinpoint accuracy. The AI systems analyzed the enemy's movements, predicting their strategies in real time. The council gasped collectively as they witnessed the power of innovation on display. But just as momentum shifted in their favor, an unexpected glitch occurred. One of the ships faltered, its systems flickering and stuttering. Panic surged within Mira. She quickly engaged the backup protocols and initiated a manual override, struggling to regain control while the audience held its breath. In that critical moment, she felt the weight of all their hopes and fears bearing down on her, but determination surged through her veins. She refused to let this moment define them. She focused on the ship's systems, channeling her expertise as she fought to stabilize the vessel. With a final burst of clarity, Mira executed the command. The ship regained its composure and surged forward, joining its comrades in the fray. The tide of the simulation turned once again as the human fleet pressed the attack, demonstrating resilience and innovation against all odds. As the simulation concluded, cheers erupted in the chamber, a wave of relief and excitement washing over the audience. Mira beamed with pride. She had shown them not only the power of technology, but the indomitable spirit of humanity united in the face of adversity. As the cheers echoed in the chamber, Mira felt a surge of exhilaration mixed with relief. The council members, once skeptical, now buzzed with excitement and newfound respect for humanity's potential. Chancellor Veller rose from his seat, his expression a mix of awe and determination. "We have witnessed something extraordinary today," he declared. "We must capitalize on this momentum and prepare for the impending threat." With the simulation successful and spirits high, the council swiftly moved to discuss the next steps. The mood shifted from doubt to strategy as they contemplated the integration of human technology into their defense plans. Various leaders exchanged ideas and collaborated with a sense of urgency that had been absent before. Mira took a moment to gather her thoughts. As the council debated, she understood that the stakes were higher than ever. The alien armada was still on the horizon, and they needed a comprehensive plan to deploy the human fleet alongside the Federation's existing forces. She could see the different factions coming together in a way she had never witnessed before. As the discussions continued, Mira's excitement turned to concern. The more they collaborated, the more she realized how little time they had left to act. If they hesitated, the alien forces would strike before they were prepared. She decided to speak up again. "Honored members of the council," she interjected, "we must not lose sight of the urgency of our situation. We need to begin training exercises immediately. We can't afford to wait for the enemy to reach our borders. We need to work together now to ensure our fleets are coordinated and ready for battle." A ripple of agreement spread through the chamber as council members recognized the wisdom in her words. Valor nodded decisively. Then let us begin preparations for joint exercises starting tomorrow. This is not just about humanity or the Federation, but about the survival of countless worlds and civilizations. With the plan set in motion, Mira felt a renewed sense of purpose as she coordinated with various alien leaders, each bringing unique strengths and strategies to the table. They began to establish communication protocols and shared tactics, combining their knowledge to create a more formidable defense. The following days were a whirlwind of activity. Training exercises unfolded across the Federation's fleet yards. Alien vessels alongside human ships worked together in intricate formations, testing their limits and learning to adapt to one another's capabilities. Mira led her team in these exercises, carefully monitoring the performance of their ships as they practiced combat scenarios. But as they trained, the atmosphere grew increasingly tense. News from the front lines became more alarming. Alien scouts had been spotted nearing the core systems, and reports indicated that their armada was gathering for a full-scale assault. The pressure mounted as Mira and her team pushed their fleets to the limit. In one particularly intense exercise, the human fleet faced a simulated attack from a mock alien armada. Mira watched as the ships maneuvered with a precision that had taken days of practice. The crew members worked seamlessly together, but she couldn't shake the feeling of impending danger looming just beyond their current reality. As the exercise reached its climax, a blaring alarm interrupted the training session. The ship's communications officer burst into the control room. An urgent message from the council has come in, he reported. The alien fleet is on the move. They are approaching our outer defenses at an alarming speed. Panic surged through the room as Mira quickly shifted into action, gathering her team around her. We can't let them breach our defenses. We must act now, she ordered. Let's mobilize our fleet and prepare for immediate engagement. The urgency in her voice resonated with the crew as they sprang into action. Tensions high and adrenaline pumping, Mira felt a mixture of fear and determination. This was at the moment they had trained for. They were no longer just a small group of innovators. They were part of something greater, an alliance determined to protect their homes and push back against tyranny. As the human fleet prepared for battle alongside the Federation's forces, Mira took a deep breath, steeling herself for what lay ahead. The galaxy was watching, and they were ready to prove that together they could face any challenge that dared to threaten their existence. As the fleet mobilized, Mira stood at the command center, her heart racing with anticipation and fear. The display screens flickered with the image of the approaching alien armada, a vast array of menacing ships that dwarfed their own forces. She could feel the tension in the air as crew members prepared for the impending confrontation. The council had convened for one final briefing, and the atmosphere was electric with urgency. Valor addressed the assembled leaders, his voice steady yet filled with determination. We must not falter. This is a defining moment for the Federation. We will stand united against this threat or face extinction. Mira observed the council members as they nodded in agreement, but she could see the undercurrents of doubt swirling among them. They had never faced an enemy of this magnitude before, and the fear of the unknown weighed heavily on their minds. We have trained for this, she reminded herself as she took her place alongside her team, her resolve hardening in the face of adversity. The human ships were ready, their adaptive systems primed to engage the enemy, but doubts lingered in her mind. Would they be enough to turn the tide? The communication officer interrupted her thoughts with a critical update. The alien fleet is within range, he announced. Enemy ships are launching forward, and the first wave of fighters is incoming. Mira took a deep breath as she rallied her crew. All ships prepare for engagement, she ordered, her voice ringing with authority. We will demonstrate what we have learned. We will show them the power of unity and innovation. Let's move. As the human ships maneuvered into formation, Mira could see the alien vessels approaching, their sleek, ominous shapes gliding through space like predators closing in on their prey. She felt a surge of adrenaline coursing through her veins as the battle commenced. The first wave of alien fighters launched a barrage of fire, bright blasts illuminating the void. Mira watched as her team expertly responded, their ships weaving and dodging, while returning fire with pinpoint accuracy. She could see the adaptive systems at work as the AI analyzed enemy movements in real time. In the chaos of battle, a sense of exhilaration took hold of her crew. They fought with determination, their spirits lifted by the knowledge that they were no longer alone. Each ship moved in perfect synchronization with the others as they formed a defensive line against the onslaught. Suddenly, an alarm blared through the command center. Mira turned to her tactical officer. "The enemy has breached our outer defenses. They're pushing toward the core worlds. We need to regroup and counterattack now," she said, urgency lacing her words. Without hesitation, she initiated the next phase of their strategy. Coordinating with the other fleet commanders, Mira directed her ships to flank the enemy while the Federation forces engaged head-on. The moment was critical. Every decision could mean the difference between victory and defeat. As they pressed forward, Mira felt the weight of the galaxy on her shoulders. She had to ensure that humanity's contribution was felt, that they could stand shoulder to shoulder with their allies as equals in this fight. But just as the battle seemed to be shifting in their favor, Mira noticed an alarming development. A massive alien flagship loomed on the horizon, its weapons charged and ready, a clear threat that could turn the tide of the battle against them. This is it, she thought, the moment of truth. As she rallied her forces, time to show them the true power of innovation and unity. Mira activated a fleet-wide broadcast, commanding all ships to converge on the flagship. Together, they would push through the chaos, determined to strike at the heart of the enemy force. She felt a surge of adrenaline and hope as her crew responded, their spirits ignited by the prospect of victory. As they surged toward the flagship, Mira's heart raced. She understood that this was more than just a battle. It was a fight for their future, for the legacy of humanity among the stars, and she was determined to ensure that they would not be forgotten again. As Mira's fleet charged toward the imposing alien flagship, the atmosphere crackled with tension and anticipation. The massive ship loomed larger on the display screens, its dark hull glistening ominously as it prepared to unleash a devastating barrage against the advancing human forces. She felt the weight of every decision pressing down on her. All ships engaged the flagship. She commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around her. As her fleet converged on their target, the ship's weapon systems lit up with a dazzling display of energy blasts that arced through the void. Mira quickly assessed the situation. Her tactical officer pointed out incoming fire from enemy fighters swarming around the flagship like hornets. She realized that the larger threat lay in the smaller ships trying to protect their command vessel. They would need to neutralize these fighters to make a successful attack. Redirecting her focus, she ordered her fleet to split into two groups, one to engage the flagship, while the other took on the swarming fighters. The strategy was risky, but it was their best chance to dismantle the enemy's defenses. As the ships split, Mira felt a surge of pride watching her crew execute the plan with precision. The human vessels danced through the battlefield, their advanced AI systems anticipating enemy moves, while the crew communicated seamlessly, adapting to the flow of combat. But just as the tide seemed to shift in their favor, an emergency alert blared through the command center. "An alien boarding party has breached our defenses," an officer shouted. Panic surged through the crew as Mira processed the information. "We can't let them take our ships," she responded, quickly turning to her team. "We need to divide our resources. A small contingent must hold the line here, while the others engage the enemy in the air." As the crew sprang into action, Mira took a moment to rally their spirits. She knew that this battle was not just about technology or tactics, but about the resilience of their shared humanity. "We fight for each other," she reminded them. "We fight for our homes, and for a future where we can thrive together. We will not let them take what is ours." With renewed determination, the crew held their ground against the boarding party. As Mira focused on coordinating the battle outside, she watched as her fleet pressed forward, relentlessly attacking the flagship's defenses, inflicting damage while expertly avoiding enemy fire. But the alien flagship retaliated with fierce intensity, launching a powerful energy wave that swept across the battlefield, knocking several human ships off course. Mira's heart sank as she saw the damage reports flooding in. The fleet was taking heavy losses. Now more than ever she needed to find a way to break through the flagship's defenses. She had a sudden idea. Based on her team's earlier simulations, what if they could lure the flagship into an exposed position? Calling her tactical officer to her side, she outlined her plan. It was risky, but it just might work. They would bait the flagship into overextending while her fleet moved in for a surprise attack. With the plan set in motion, Mira felt the tension rising again. As they executed the strategy, some of her ships pulled back, drawing fire while others prepared for the decisive strike against the flagship. The alien vessel followed the bait, its weapons trained on the retreating ships as it pursued them with ferocity. But Mira held her breath as her remaining fleet moved into position. The moment of truth was at hand. Now she commanded all ships to converge at once, launching a concentrated assault on the flagship's vulnerable rear. As the coordinated strike hit the flagship, explosions erupted across its hull, and the colossal ship shuddered under the onslaught. Victory was within reach, but the battle raged on. Chaos erupted as the alien forces struggled to regroup and defend their flagship. Mira knew they had to maintain the momentum. As the flagship began to falter, Mira urged her fleet forward. They had to exploit this opening. Now more than ever, their unity and resolve would define their fate. This battle was not just for survival, it was a declaration of humanity's place in the galaxy, and she would fight tooth and nail to secure it. As the flagship shuddered under the relentless assault, Mira felt a mix of exhilaration and urgency. They were close to achieving a decisive victory, but she could sense the tension still lingering in the air. The alien forces were regrouping, their smaller ships swarming like a desperate tide, trying to shield their flagship from further damage. In the command center, the tactical officer's voice broke through her thoughts. We're taking heavy fire from the remaining enemy fighters. He warned if we don't clear them out soon, the flagship will have a chance to recover and launch a counterattack. Mira's mind raced. She had to act quickly. Their window of opportunity was closing. With a determined nod, she turned to her crew. All right, she called out, let's focus our fire on those fighters. We need to create a clear path to the flagship. We can't let them regroup. The crew sprang into action, their training kicking in as they coordinated their attacks, targeting the swarming enemy ships. With laser precision, the human fleet moved like a well-oiled machine, maneuvering to evade incoming fire, while launching a concentrated assault on the enemy fighters. As the battle raged on, Mira noticed an unfamiliar ship lingering at the edge of the battlefield. It was sleek and different from the standard alien vessels. Her instincts told her it was significant and likely dangerous. Just then, a communication crackled through the channels. It was a voice. She recognized the alien spy who had infiltrated the Federation during the early council meetings. I have information you need, the spy announced urgently. The flagship is equipped with a cloaking device that allows it to hide in plain sight. When it's on the brink of destruction, you must destroy it before it can escape. Mira's heart raced as she processed the information. She had suspected there was more to the alien technology than met the eye. This new revelation added urgency to their efforts. They had to finish the flagship before it slipped away into the void. Directing her fleet, she shouted, we need to escalate our assault now. Every ship concentrate fire on the flagship. We can't allow it to escape. With renewed determination, the fleet unleashed a torrent of fire on the alien flagship as the energy blasts rained down. The flagship's defenses began to buckle under the onslaught, but Mira knew that the remaining enemy fighters still posed a threat. Suddenly, the alien fleet launched a desperate counteroffensive, regrouping their remaining fighters to protect the flagship with renewed vigor. Mira watched as the battlefield erupted in chaos. Bright flashes of energy lit up the void as ships engaged in a deadly dance. But this time, Mira felt a surge of confidence. Her crew had proven their resolve and ingenuity in the face of overwhelming odds. Now was the moment to push through the chaos to secure their victory. As they pressed the attack, an alarm blared across the command center. A new wave of enemy ships was approaching from the edge of the system. Mira's heart sank as she realized they were not alone. The alien armada had sent reinforcements. This was a trap. She thought the aliens had been waiting for them to weaken their defenses before sending in additional forces, but there was no turning back now. They had to hold their ground. Rallying her crew, she called out, "We cannot falter. This is our moment. We stand united against tyranny. We have come too far to back down now. Let's show them the true strength of our alliance." With renewed resolve, Mira directed her fleet to maintain their assault on the flagship, while simultaneously engaging the reinforcements. They formed a defensive line, determined to hold off the new threat as the two forces collided. The battle escalated with fierce intensity. Explosions lit up the darkness of space, illuminating the determination on the faces of Mira's crew. Despite the overwhelming odds, they fought with everything they had, their unity and spirit shining through the chaos. As the flagship continued to absorb damage, it began to wobble. Struggling to remain operational, Mira felt a flicker of hope, but she knew they needed to keep the pressure on if they were to secure their victory. Then, in a bold move, she commanded the fleet to execute a full frontal assault on the flagship, all remaining firepower directed at its core. "We can end this now," she urged. "If we can disable it, we can turn the tide of this battle once and for all." With a synchronized barrage of laser fire, the flagship began to fracture, its hull splintering under the relentless onslaught. Mira felt a surge of adrenaline as the alien flagship faltered, and a victorious roar erupted in the command center. They were on the brink of turning the tide against the relentless enemy. But the battle was far from over, and the true test of their resolve was yet to come. The alien flagship trembled under the relentless barrage, yet Mira knew the fight was only just beginning. As the flagship's hull fractured, the remaining enemy ships surged with newfound desperation, their fighters swarming to defend their command vessel against the oncoming storm of firepower. The atmosphere in the command center was electric as Mira's crew pressed on, a mix of fear and determination coursing through them. They had fought hard, and the thought of victory hung tantalizingly close, yet the resurgence of the enemy forces felt like a weight on their shoulders. As the flagship's defenses weakened, a chilling realization washed over Mira. The alien command was preparing to execute their last resort. She recognized the telltale signs of their imminent desperation strike. She had seen it in simulations. Their final tactic would involve a powerful energy pulse designed to cripple any surrounding ships. "We need to disrupt their launch sequence," she shouted urgently to her tactical officer. "They're planning to use their energy pulse. We can't let them fire that weapon, or it will take out our entire fleet." Her team moved quickly, relaying the command to the various ships in the fleet. They focused their fire on the smaller ships surrounding the flagship, determined to break through the wall of defenses and reach the core of the alien operation. Mira's heart raced as her fleet engaged in a furious battle. Every moment felt critical. Every decision weighed heavily on her shoulders. But the crew fought valiantly, their resolve unwavering, as they moved to dismantle the aliens' last line of defense. As the skirmish unfolded, Mira noticed an opening, a gap in the enemy formation. She seized the moment and commanded her fleet to break through all remaining ships, concentrate fire on the flagship's core. "If we can disable it now, we can prevent the energy pulse from launching." With a collective rallying cry, the human fleet surged forward, their ships weaving through the chaos as they focused all their firepower on the alien flagship. The energy blasts exploded against the flagship's hull, illuminating the darkness of space in bursts of brilliant light. The flagship shuddered violently, its weapon systems sputtering as the crew of the human fleet felt the momentum shift in their favor. Mira could see the enemy fighters growing desperate, their coordinated efforts faltering in the face of their onslaught. But just as victory seemed within reach, a chilling roar erupted from the flagship as it retaliated with a final desperate surge of power. The energy pulse fired from its core, streaking toward the heart of the human fleet. "No," she thought as time seemed to slow. The pulse raced through space, bright and menacing. But Mira's instincts kicked in. She quickly relayed a warning to her fleet. "All ships divert course, now evade the energy pulse." As her crew reacted in unison, ships maneuvered desperately to evade the incoming attack. The pulse detonated amidst the fleet, sending shockwaves rippling through space. The explosion was deafening as several ships rocked violently, but they had avoided the worst of the damage. With the flagship momentarily weakened, Mira seized the opportunity, urging her fleet to rally once more. Push forward. She commanded. Their resolve was unyielding. They would not falter now. They were close to securing their victory. In a final coordinated effort, the human fleet unleashed everything they had left on the flagship. The combined firepower surged forth, relentless and unyielding, as the flagship's hull began to crack under the pressure. Mira felt her heart race with anticipation as the flagship's defenses crumbled before them. It was almost within reach, but she could see the alien fighters regrouping for one last stand, desperation fueling their determination. As the enemy closed ranks, Mira shouted to her crew, "We can't let them protect their flagship. We need to push through now and destroy it before they can escape." With unwavering resolve, the human fleet surged forward, their ships forming a unified front. As they engaged the remaining fighters in a fierce showdown, bright explosions erupted around them as they fought with everything they had left. Finally, in a moment that felt like eternity, the flagship began to falter, its power systems failing as the barrage of fire rained down. It shuddered and lurched, and with a final blinding explosion, the alien flagship erupted in a brilliant display of light, scattering debris across the battlefield. A deafening cheer erupted from Mira's crew, a wave of exhilaration washing over them as they witnessed the flagship's destruction. They had done it. They had secured a pivotal victory against overwhelming odds. But as the dust settled, Mira knew the battle was not over yet. The remaining alien forces were still in play, and their resolve would be tested once more in the ongoing fight for survival. As the remnants of the flagship disintegrated into the void, Mira felt a rush of triumph, but it was quickly tempered by the knowledge that the battle was far from over. The remaining alien forces were regrouping, their desperation palpable as they prepared for a final stand. The command center buzzed with frantic energy as crew members assessed damage reports and strategized their next moves. Mira's tactical officer turned to her with urgency. "We need to capitalize on their disarray. They're vulnerable, but we must act quickly." Nodding resolutely, Mira rallied her crew. "We've come this far together, and we won't back down now," she declared. "Our victory against their flagship proves that we can defeat them. Let's use that momentum to finish what we started." With a renewed sense of purpose, the human fleet mobilized once again. It formed their lines and prepared to engage the remaining alien fighters. As Mira oversaw the operations, she felt the weight of leadership heavy on her shoulders, but the determination in her crew fueled her resolve. The battle resumed with a fierce intensity, the alien fighters moving with desperation as they attempted to protect their remaining forces. Mira's heart raced as her fleet pushed forward, every ship working in unison, every blast of energy fired in solidarity. As they closed in on the remaining enemy vessels, Mira could see the alien ships faltering, their once coordinated attacks now fragmented and disorganized. It was clear that their morale had been shattered by the loss of the flagship. Now was the moment to strike a decisive blow. "We can break them," she urged her crew. "Let's push forward together. Let's show them the strength of our unity." With the fire of determination igniting their spirits, the human fleet surged ahead, targeting the remaining alien vessels with precision, and focused. Their coordinated assaults left the enemy scrambling as the tide of the battle shifted in their favor. But just when victory seemed assured, another alarm blared through the command center. Mira's heart sank as she turned to her tactical officer. "Reinforcements are approaching from the edge of the system," he reported. "They're launching a counteroffensive." Mira clenched her fists as she processed the information. They were not out of danger, yet the arrival of fresh alien ships could turn the tide of the battle once again. "We need to prepare for their attack," she ordered urgently. She quickly devised a plan to consolidate their remaining forces, coordinating with the other fleet commanders to create a defensive formation while keeping pressure on the retreating enemy ships. "We can't let them regroup. We have to keep them on the back foot." As the enemy reinforcements closed in, Mira's fleet fell into formation. The air in the command center was thick with tension and anticipation, but she could see the resolve in her crew's eyes. They were ready to face whatever came next. When the alien ships finally engaged, the battlefield erupted in chaos. Once more energy blasts lit up the darkness as both sides fought fiercely for dominance. Mira felt the familiar surge of adrenaline as she directed her forces with precision. In the thick of the battle, she noticed a pattern emerging. The alien ships were relying heavily on their older tactics, but their previous strategy was crumbling under the weight of the human fleet's relentless innovation. She quickly realized that they were beginning to lose their cohesion. Now was their chance, she thought. Seizing the moment, she commanded her fleet to concentrate fire on the enemy reinforcements. As they faltered under the combined assault, the tide turned yet again. The alien vessels began to break apart one by one. As the battle raged on, Mira felt a deep sense of connection with her crew. Every energy blast, every maneuver reinforced their shared determination, their humanity shining brightly amidst the chaos of war. With each fallen enemy ship, the morale of the human fleet soared. They pressed forward, relentless and united, until finally the remaining alien forces began to retreat, fleeing into the depths of space as victory hung in the air. Mira stood in awe as the cheers erupted around her. They had done it against all odds. They had united to overcome a formidable enemy, and in that moment, they knew they had forged a new alliance, one that would stand together against any threat the galaxy might throw their way. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded, Mira felt a swell of pride. She had witnessed humanity's potential and resilience, a shining example of what they could achieve together, united not just as allies but as friends. In the aftermath of the battle, the Federation began to rebuild, but Mira knew that this victory was only the beginning. It marked a turning point in their shared journey, a promise of a brighter future for all the diverse civilizations across the galaxy, united in strength and innovation, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.